Good morning, Alan, and good morning to all of you. I'm Terry, and welcome to TARDIS Spider. Today we look at the year 2006 in Doctor Who. David Tennant will have his first full season. So let's look at the stories and a few of the facts behind the year. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, like and subscribe. And now, 2006 in Doctor Who. This year is the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. David Tennant will be returning for 3 specials in November. So I thought we'd take a look back at David Tennant's very first full season of Doctor Who, and the year is 2006. In 2006, following the departure of executive producer Mal Young, Russell T. Davies and Julie Gardner continued to steer the phenomenally successful Doctor Who. The second series seemed as fresh as its predecessor, and was now accompanied by a proliferation of books, toys, and other merchandise. New Earth would mark the return of computer-generated villain Cassandra, and a memorable new race in the feline Sisters of Plentitude. Even more ferocious would be the werewolf that threatened the Doctor, Rose, and Queen Victoria in Tooth and Claw. Long-standing fans were excited and delighted to see Sarah Jane Smith and K9 in Toby Whithouse's school reunion. With Mickey joining the TARDIS crew, the girl in the fireplace continued the bittersweet exploration of the Doctor's longevity compared with we mere humans. In 2006, one of the Doctor's most dangerous foes from the past, the Cybermen, would receive a new origin story. This story was handled by Graham Williams, the only man to direct in both classic and the new era of Doctor Who. These 2 stories are The Rise of the Cybermen and The Age of Steel. These events took place on a parallel version of the Earth, where Rose's father is still alive. Back on the real Earth, in 1953, writer Mark Gatiss cleverly used the Idiot's Lantern, television itself, as the threat. Doctor Who's long tradition of memorable creatures would continue with the Ood, first appearing in The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit, before Love and Monsters would make Elton Pope the focus of an unconventional tale produced while David Tennant and Billy Piper were recording other stories. Peter Kay played the Absorbaloff, a creature designed and named by the winner of a Blue Peter competition. In the near future, Fear Her presented a more subdued tale of suburban horror before an army of ghosts and Doomsday would pit the Daleks against the Cybermen for the first time in the show's history. After the historic and devastating Battle of Canary Wharf, the Doctor would bid an emotional farewell to Rose, as different universes would separate them. The closing moments of Doomsday led into this year's Christmas special, The Runaway Bride, and introduced Donna, an outstanding companion quite unlike any that had gone before. The show was also branching out in many other ways. In October, Captain Jack starred in Torchwood, Doctor Who's first spin-off drama series. Davies had already begun similar plans for the eternally popular Sarah Jane Smith. The year 2006 would bring us 10 stories covering 13 episodes in Season 2, and the Christmas special, The Runaway Bride. So let's now rank those stories and The Runaway Bride and see what I thought of the year 2006 in Doctor Who. The 2-parter, The Impossible Planet, The Satan Pit. On a planet orbiting a black hole, a satanic creature is awakening. A richly atmospheric and frightening base undersea story. Gold's music racks up the tension, and the Ood are chillingly original. The Girl in the Fireplace. An abandoned spaceship houses gateways to 18th century France. Superbly written, this romantic fantasy with a surreal and frightening atmosphere and a devastating conclusion. Miles gives a muted performance, but the attention to detail is stunning, as is the music. The Clockwork Robots are based on a real-life 1769 chess-playing clockwork hoax called The Turk. In School Reunion, winged aliens are eating the pupils at Jeffrey Vale High School. This story marks the return of Sarah Jane Smith and K9. The rusted K9 was a new prop built by Nick McCool and Alan Brannon, while the rejuvenated version was the original 1977 model, first seen in The Invisible Enemy. Tooth and Claw. It's 1879, and a werewolf is on the prowl in the Scottish Highlands. A beautifully looking, tastefully edited horror story with great performances and a tangible sense of place. This story is a highlight of the season. In the two-parter, Rise of the Cybermen, The Age of Steel, the Cybermen are being created on a parallel Earth. We now have Art Deco Cybermen. As is usual in Doctor Who, there is a new Cyberman design every time they reappear. The Radio Times also produced a cover for this story. The season's finale, the two-parter, Army of Ghosts and Doomsday, has both the Daleks and the Cybermen fight a pitched battle over Torchwood headquarters in Canary Wharf. This fan action fest pits the two great enemies against each other with no great effect. In introducing various characters from the Rise of the Cybermen, The Age of Steel, the story feels more like a sequel than a standalone adventure. Rose had become even more cliched and irritating throughout the season, so her departure, although emotive, comes as a welcome relief. The year will end with the Christmas special, The Runaway Bride. A giant spider threatens to destroy the world. This story will introduce us to Donna Noble, as played by Catherine Tate. This story is a mess, with an incomprehensible script, embarrassingly feeble jokes, but an impressive monster that does absolutely nothing. New Earth is a loose sequel to The End of the World. In this story, hideous experiments are being conducted in a futuristic hospital. The only highlight of the stories is the costume of the sisterhood. The Idiot's Lantern, 1953 London, and an alien is inhabiting television sets. A rather dull 1950s stories that drowns a potential creepy idea under technobabble. Love and Monsters. A fan's obsession with the Doctor soon turns into a nightmare. The Absorbaloff was designed by 9-year-old William Grantham for a Blue Peter contest. Fear Her. On a housing estate in 2012 London, children are vanishing into thin air. This story lives up to its reputation as being one of the worst stories in new Doctor Who. Well, that's our look at the year 2006, a season with a few stinkers, but mostly outstanding stories. I hope you enjoyed our look at it, and I hope you enjoy your journey through time and space. And please never, ever forget, a child cannot have a favorite book if they do not have one. Give a child a book today. Good night.